Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, right? To the elder apostles, the bishops in Connecticut, to the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And as you can see right here, it says Mexico has shut down its borders with the U.S. due to tariffs taking effect today, right? And we're going to see how this thing works out with all these different tariffs and the things that goes on with the debt, amount of debt that's going to engulf this place, man, right?
About $8 trillion on foreign wars and their consequences since September 11th. And trillions more for other military operations and for supporting military bases in 70 countries. And it still isn't spending enough to support its military competition with China in the area around China. In this cycle, the richer countries eventually get deeper into debt by borrowing from poorer countries that save more. It's one of the early signs of a wealth and power shift. This started in the United States in the 1980s when it had a per capita income 40 times that of China's and started borrowing from Chinese who wanted to save in dollars because the dollar was the world's reserve currency. Similarly, the British borrowed a lot of money from its much poorer colonies, and the Dutch did the same at their time. If the empire begins to run out of new lenders, those holding their currency begin to look to sell and get out rather than to buy, save, lend, and get in. And the strength of the empire begins to decline. The decline comes from internal economic weakness together with internal fighting or costly external fighting or both. Typically, the decline comes gradually and then very suddenly. When debts become very large and there is an economic downturn and the empire can no longer borrow the money necessary to repay its debts, the financial bubble bursts. This creates great domestic hardships and forces the country to choose between defaulting on its debts or printing a lot of new money. It always chooses to print a lot of new money, at first gradually and eventually massively. That devalues the currency and raises inflation. For the Dutch, this was the financial crisis brought about by financial excesses and paying for the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War. Similarly, for the British, it was paying for its financial excesses and its debts from the two world wars. And for the U.S., it's been 3 cycles of debt finance booms and busts since the 90s, with the central bank stepping in each time with stronger measures. When the government has problems funding itself, when there are bad economic conditions, and living standards for most people are declining, and there are large wealth, values, and political gaps, internal conflict between the rich and the poor, as this has spent about $8 trillion on foreign wars, and their
Yeah, so this is Ezekiel chapter 17, verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, put forth a riddle and speak a parable unto the house of Israel, which is talking about both tribes, right? Right, because both tribes got carried away out of the land in captivity, right? The southern kingdom to Nebuchadnezzar, which is the Babylonians, right? And then the other to the northern kingdom to the Assyrians, which I believe they were the same people. The Babylonians and the Assyrians were pretty much the same people, right? But they had their own separate sector, whatever, or their own separate time that they ruled, or they were in top positions or whatever. But I believe they're like pretty much the same people. The Babylonians and the Assyrians are the same people, but the northern kingdom went under the Assyrians, the southern kingdom went under the Babylonians. And it says, and say, thus saith the Adawan, or Kyrie, power, the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, a great eagle with great wings and long winged, full of feathers, right? Dealing with Nebuchadnezzar, which had diverse colors, came unto Lebanon to take the highest branch of the cedar, which dealing with Judah, right? Taking down, the Israelites, right? Because that's ultimately what happened. The Israelites got taken down, right? He cropped off the top of his young twigs and carried it into the land, right? Took us into slavery, right? That was Nebuchadnezzar, but here we are here in America, also in the land of our captivity, and he carried it into the land of traffic, right? And what did they do to us with those cargo slave ships? That was trafficking, right? They trafficked, right? Took us from Europe over to America, from America to the different islands, and then back to Europe. Then, of course, later on, they end up finding out that, I guess, they were still Israelite. They were Israelites in Africa. Then they started going to the west coast of Africa, and then that's when they created that the triangle slave trade, right? And just basically carried us into this place of the land of traffic, and set it in a city of merchants, right? So that's this whole thing with this trade and merchants and things that's going on. And now they're pushing forth what these tariffs, right? So yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 14 verse 4, that thus should it take up this parable against the king of Babylon, right? Because that was Nebuchadnezzar back then, but this is that the spiritual Babylon, which is now, which would be Trump, right? He's the king of Babylon as it is now, or really the shadow government, but the king, as it be it, what Babylon the Great, America, the daughter of Babylon. So the king of Babylon right now is Trump. And say, how has the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? See, and that, look, they're shutting down their borders. You got all this great debt because you borrowed. You're top 40. The thing said 40 times more than any other place. You were good. Why would you need to borrow? Right? If anything, you borrow from yourself. You invest in something and then you take thing, or you wait until you can afford it. Like it doesn't make sense that you will borrow from another place. You know what I mean? just don't make no sense, right? It's just Yahweh, right? All caps, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Kwadash, have broken the staff of the wicked, right? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, Job 9:24, right? And the scepter of the ruler, man, and you've been ruling and controlling the so-called narrative, but now that all that is coming to an end, right? Who smote the people in wrath with the continual stroke, right? You've been going around the world being the big bully on the block, you know, you know, you've rarely had any, well, I don't think you had any years of actual peace, right? You speak about peace, but the only things you ever done is war. And even when you wasn't in war with other countries, you were at war at home, which that's the thing with what it said. Even now, that scenario is occurring where the poor is coming against the rich and the rich against the poor, right? You're going to have infighting, influx of people angry and disappointed that they never got their piece of the pie of that American dream, right? You know, people got comfortable living here, right? So it says, who smote the people with a continual stroke. He who ruled the nations, right? And that's ultimately what you've been doing. You know, you've been going around, hey, in the name of democracy, and you know, I'm gonna come over here and then we're gonna liberate the people. But really, you were there to steal the gold, the oil, you know, whatever minerals that you could steal, and really you made it look like it was infighting with the other with the natives, or with the people who live there, all while you basically plundered the land, right? Got what you wanted. So you basically ruled. You got over 80 military bases all over the world, right? That thing said 70, but I read another thing that said, yeah, anywhere between 75 and 80 military bases around the world. So that's you that smoked the nations in anger, is persecuted. So now we're coming to the time that you're being persecuted, right? Because of what happened with Lazinski. People, all the European nations saying, hey, we're willing to do our own thing now, and we don't give a damn about America anymore, right? And none hindereth. Right now, you're being persecuted, and there's no one to hinder you being persecuted, right? Because you thought you'll take the children of Israel into captivity, and that will be it, man. Everything will be good. You'll have, everything you need, right? Matter of fact, let's go down to it. It says, same chapter, says Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13, and thus has said in thy heart, La'ab, your mind, I will ascend into heaven. See, you feel like you were going to be on this this upward thing into heaven forever, but you're really on a roller coaster ride, right? Because a roller coaster, it goes up, but it has to come down, right? Just and you're on this. I mean, the stock market's like a roller coaster ride, and eventually it has to come down and it has to stop, right? It ain't gonna go on forever, right? So eventually you're gonna meet your maker, so to speak, man. You're gonna meet your doom and your gloom, right? Because now people are persecuting you, hey, and no, there's no one hindering your persecution, right? Because they bringing it up. Well, you know what you did to those so-called black people, which black is a color, it's not a nationality, right? We're the Israelites, right? So-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians of Indian and Negro descent. We're the Israelites, by the way. And that's where you messed up, right? You thought you were going to be on high. I will ascend into heaven and exalt my throne above the stars of the power of the Most High. And guess who are those stars, man? Those stars are the Israelites, man. You thought you would exalt your throne above the stars, which are the Israelites, but also, you got the stars in the, in the sky. You shoot up your space shuttles, and you thinking, your Elon Musk and your NASA, and everything is gonna be okay, right? You're gonna have all these great things, and prepare for yourself a bunker in the sky, and what is it called? Star Wars program. So you have your laser beams and your what is it called? Um your eye in the skies, so to speak, because you have these things that can cameras, things that can zoom in from outer space, and you can see a lot of things, man. That your intelligence, right? You let this thing puff you up, right? And then that's why you say I sit above the stars of God, right? And I will sit upon the mount of the congregation, which is the Israelites, right? Right? You thought, you know, that's why you're protecting those JJs over there, the J double O's, right? Because they're trying to sit in our stead, right? They're trying to act like they're the congregation. They're trying to act like they're the Israelites, right? Putting on the name Israeli, right? Right? A U J double O ish, right? But the real congregation is where? In the sides of the north, right? In the North America. But now people are starting to persecute you. Yeah, so you got you're being persecuted, and no one's hindering, right? Because you thought putting the Israelites in slavery was going to be your thing to stay on top, to be in the clouds, to be on high, be in heaven, to be ruling forever. But it says since you're putting the tariffs against Canada, Canada said that the Canadian stores removing U.S. made Jack Daniels as a response to Trump's tariffs, right?
Our allies are now turning on us as we're finding out a Norwegian fuel supplier is refusing U.S. ships because of what they did yesterday to Ukraine. This is coming from the Norwegian fuel company, and I apologize, I'll probably say it wrong, Haltback Bunkers. They announced that they'll be ceasing supplying fuel to U.S. military forces in Norway. This is going to be happening across all of the ports that they service inside Norway. The company actually put out an announcement that read, "We've decided to immediately stop as in capitalize, as fuel provider to American forces in Norway and their ships calling Norwegian ports. No fuel to Americans." They then called on other European countries to follow their lead, and then ended their statement by saying, "Slava Ukraina," or it should be Ukraini, but still, which is a slogan that Ukrainians use, which you respond with Herem Slava. Now, this fuel being cut off is a big problem for the United States, especially where Norway is located. But if more and more countries do this to the United States, then we would not be, just for the better word, be able to fuel these ships so they can't go and protect those waters. At this moment, the United States government has yet to respond to this. If they do, I'll be sure to let you know, so please share my videos and follow me for more.
Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 15, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore, right, which is dealing with Babylon. Babylon's the whore, right, which is America, right? It's the daughter of Babylon, right? Which is Babylon the Great. Sitteth our people, right? Dealing with because the water, it says water, and in the other verse it says sea, meaning people. A sea of people basically means a large multitude of people, right? Our peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So you got all these different EU, NATO nations, right? And it says the 10 horns, which the swords upon the beast, right? Which that's dealing with the NATO, the EU, NATO nations, right? Which goes all the way back to the Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Spain, England, and Germany, right? Going back to those 10 major rulership places, right? Which Spain also goes with Portugal, because Portugal was one of the main places that were slavery on cargo slave ships began, right? I remember learning that when I was in school. One of the first slave ships for Portugal, like they were in it early. Spain, of course, because that was Cristobal Colon, right? You got England and Ireland, which is they basically that same landmass, right? You got the Germany, but mainly Western Germany, where they used to have a lot of money. Where BMW and Mercedes and all these different major things, but through this war with Ukraine, right? It's dissolving them, right? This war, this blowing up of the Nord Stream pipelines, and then Russia saying, you know what, y'all being like that, you know what, I'm just gonna cut it off, and you don't get any gas from me, and now you got to get your gas and things from so-called America, which you're paying 3 times, maybe even 4 times more than you were paying previous, right? Which pretty soon they're gonna say, hey, we need to be buddies with Russia and F America, which that's ultimately what they're all coming to the conclusion to say, hey, you know what? We need to say F America, even though we have this agenda to keep going with the war, because, they have a different of opinions of how to control the new world order, right? So that's that infighting amongst themselves, but they still are collectively pushing forth that new world order, right? But in the midst, they're despising, right, America, but also the small hats, right? Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Yeah, we'll get that real quick. But let's just finish this up before we get that. Let's see. We saw upon the beast. Yeah. It's in the 10 horns. Yep. Thus sauce upon the beast. These are upon the beast. These shall hate the whore. Right. They hate America. Right. They hate America. Babylon the Great. Right. Spiritually Sodom. Spiritually Egypt. This that place that they're starting to hate. You know, and shall make the whore desolate. Right, they're gonna shoot missiles upon this place. Right, that's why the guy was saying, "Hey, you got an ocean between you. You don't feel, but soon you will feel. Hey, you're gonna feel those missiles, man. You're gonna feel the hate that these other nations have for you." Right, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, because all these other NATO EU nations, right, basically the 10 horns, right, which is NATO EU and the EU, the NATO nations, right, which that's what Ukraine wants to be part of, but you know he's trying to push it so it don't, because that's guaranteed World War III, right? But the most high got another surprise, right? Because his thing was it Zelensky? Come right here. This is you can see right here Zelensky looking very unenthused, but yet he came looking very unenthused, saying Zelensky's still open to mineral deal after Oval Office clash with Trump. Looking very unenthused, right? And it says White House, oh no, Washington, uh, Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky said, I know I didn't say it right, but whatever. He is ready to sign a deal to grant the U.S. access to his rare earth mineral days after President Donald Trump publicly braided him at the White House. All right. It says in the Oval Office clash before the press, corporations on Friday with stocks waves that reverberated worldwide. Trump admonished Zelensky for gambling with World War III. His Vice President J.D. Vance demanded he thank Trump more for U.S. support. Trump, who has been expected to sign a deal. Yeah, you know what they're thinking right here. This that classic Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy. See, that's ultimately what it is. I mean, he walked away like, I don't give a he went over there, talked to all the different prime ministers and presidents and stuff over there in Europe. They were like, yeah, we could back him up ourselves. We'll put our own military. We'll put our own money up. We'll back him up. And that went on for a little bit, and he was standing behind them like, yeah, that's right, yeah. But then he turned around and decided to come back to America and say, hey, you know what? You can't have that mineral deal. We need you. But really, what they're thinking is, hey, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, right? Yeah, you're hey, It's going to bring you to your end, right? All the way to the end, right into the end of your rulership, which they don't know it's the end of their rulership, right? The men that were at peace with thee, right? And that's ultimately what Trump said. Hey, look, let's make peace with Russia. We're gonna go into World War III, and nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants that, except for us. The only one who wants that is the hopeful elect, man, which will be the elect. We want World War III to happen. We need you to bring the charagma. We need you to bring the CHIP. We need you to bring the World War III, man. We need nukes flying from Russia to America, from America to Russia, from China to America, from America to China, and everything else in between, right? We need these things, right? That's our deliverance, right? So that we're at peace with thee, have deceived, and see that's old. Dude is there. That's you see the look on his face. He got his hand on his fucking face, like this is a grown man, right? Supposedly, you're supposed to be a president of a country, and you got your hand on your cheek, unimpressed. Yeah, I guess you can get this deal. I guess I'll let you get some minerals, but that's only to deceive thee, right? And prevailed against thee, that they that ate thy bread, right? And Lazinski won't. He been eating that bread already. Something 300 billion. I don't know. It's a crazy number, bro. It's a crazy number, bro. It's like some 300 billion, 400 billion. Man, you're talking in the billions, trillions, man. No, I mean trillion. I mean it's like not billions, trillions. You're talking in the trillions. What they gave Lazinski for this war? You're talking in the trillions, bro. So it's like it's a ridiculous amount. And then he was saying he don't know where the money went. He said only half the inventory showed up, only about half the money showed up, and we don't know where the money went. Then he came back over here, marched back over here. Hey, we need some more money. So what do you think this is all about? That he decided to say, yeah, okay, we'll give you a deal with the minerals, so he can get some more money, man. So he can get that bread, baby boy. He gotta get that bread. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, baby? What say? Well, baby need a new pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get that bread. Gotta get that money. They that ate thy bread have laid a wound under thee. And that's ultimately what this is, man. It's eating a freaking hole in this economy, right? And I get it. You're trying to do a de-dollarization anyway to bring in the digital coin. But in the way that they're draining you and not putting back, and then you see how all these countries have just went ahead, decided to turn their back on you. Oh, we ain't gonna give you any fuel. Oh, we're Canada, and we're gonna pull off all American things off our stock, off our shelf, right? Watch what it say right here, because this dude came back and decided to give them. Oh yeah, I'll give you a deal anyway. So look what it says. It says, "Have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." There ain't no understanding in Donald Trump, man. He's gonna go ahead and finally accept this deal and go, hey, finally. His thing, because he's proud. He think dude decided to bow down because he's the great Donald Trump. No, he's bowing down so he can lay a wound under you. He's bowing down so he can deceive you, so he can eat more of your bread and leave you to the fire, so the flames eat thy flesh, man. Right? They're gonna freaking. Hey, matter of fact, what it says, I think it's up here. Oh yeah, right here. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen, right? And that's ultimately what's happening right now. The Lord, they just turned their back on the good old U.S. of A, man. Right? The good old, who turns their back on the good old U.S. of A? Right? Hey, man, this is beautiful, man. Because a house divided cannot stand. So we need you devils to do this stuff right here. Right? A house divided cannot stand. Right? It says, behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. See, we're paying attention, man. We're being circumspect. The Lord said, measure the time diligently. We're looking at this thing and we know in a fucking 1,000 years to go, man. This thing's ready to pop right now, man. Right? Right? I have made thee small amongst the heathen, right? Dealing with the small hats, right? Amalek. People are despising Amalek with this G-siding that they're doing. This G-siding making them despised around the world. And then, of course, America has to back them up. Keep backing them up. So everybody's like, hey, everybody's getting a bad taste in their mouth with the little hats, small hats, and America, man. Right? Right? You over there G-siding people over there in Gaza, right? People are getting a very bad taste in their mouth about you, bro. They don't like you. They hate you. They look and made you small amongst the heathen. And see, all the other nations, they said, what? Oh, you did that to we ain't giving you no oil. We ain't giving you no gas. Oh, we're going to pull our stuff off the shelf. Oh, you want to do tariffs? Oh, we'll pull off our stuff off the... Bro, look, they thus are greatly despised, right? And that's the thing. That's where you at, man. You and the small hatters are greatly despised. So this dude's coming back to just to trick you, to pull the rug off underneath your feet, and they're gonna shoot the missiles upon you, man. And that's it. There's no understanding it. You can't get it. But the Lord already prophesied. He set up the men to prophesy and tell you that they're there to trick you, man. But you think it's I'm great Donald Trump because I said something and that thing, I'm going to get it done. See, if I was, this thing would have never happened because I'm this great. Yeah. Hey, you're the great one to get the rug pulled off on and you get deceived, right? Because they have what? Thus are greatly despised. Greatly, man. Right? That's the thing that's going on in the earth. Yeah, so this is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, right? Yeah, the Lord is the discerner of your thoughts, right? I mean, you're not gonna get past anything, right? Because anything you do before you do it, it goes past your thoughts. You're not gonna be able to do something so spontaneous that you're gonna catch the Lord off guard, right? Why you think, well, we could still push this new world order and somehow we're going to be successful. I mean, but it's written that you're going to do that. So, hey, call law you Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Hey, let you continue, man. Please. We need you to bring it on. And say unto them, every kingdom divided against itself. See, you're trying to bring in the New World Order or the Novus Ordo Seclorum, Salakia, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, but you're divided in how to bring it in. You know, you got this idea. I want it to bring it in this way. I want it to be this way. You know, I want it to be the main one who dollar is the strongest, so I can be the one where I'm the world currency, right? In the Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? You want to be that. You want to be the top guy, the top country, right? In that, so you're warring, you're fighting against each other, you're divided. A kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and that's ultimately what's happening right now, man. Your kingdom is being brought to a desolation, right? Every city or home, right? So whether if you're a kingdom whether your city or if it's just a home. The Lord's breaking it down to the simple, to the very, what did it say? The very last compound. Break it down to the very last compound, right? Making it simple for you to understand. If a house is divided, right, it itself shall not stand. So, whether you're dealing with a kingdom, right? You wanna bring in a new world order or novus order seclorum, or you just want to run a house. I just want to be a husband and a wife and do some regular old things. But if you're divided, it shall not stand. It itself shall not stand, right? And if Satan, right, which that's what you are, man, you self-proclaimed so-called white people are Satan. You're the adversaries of the Most High and his people. So you are Satan. You're our adversaries, right? We have the spiritual adversary, which is Satan, and you're the physical counterpart of Satan, right? And then your adversaries amongst each other. So if Satan cast out Satan, right? So you become your own adversary, even though you're all in agreement with the novus ordo seclorum. You're all in agreement with being square men and all this other different things that comes with the quest, right? Right, with shining, to being the light, right? The Illuminati, right? You're in agreement with all these other things, but you're just not in agreement with who's going to be the next top country, right? Who's going to rule the new normal, right? Because you want to be the one who rules the new normal, right? Yeah, that's what I gotta call it, right? It's the new, because that's what you guys was calling it, the new normal, right? And he is divided against himself. How can you, if you're divided against yourself? That's like like committing suicide, bro. Yeah, I see you tomorrow, but I'm finna go home and commit suicide. Well, you're not gonna see tomorrow. You're against yourself, right? And that's ultimately what it is, right? An old term, they call it shooting yourself in the foot. You are against yourself, right? How shall then his kingdom stand, right? How can the king of Edom or the Edomites or Esau stand? It can't, and it ain't going to, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse, right? Horse representing power, that was red, right? Dealing with the Edomites, right? Edom or Idawam, which means red, right? Esau, Edom. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's what's about to start happening, man. Peace, complete peace is going to be taken from the earth, right? That they should kill one another, and that's ultimately what's going to happen. They're going to start killing one another, right? Which is World War III is going to happen. You're going to kill one another in World War III, right? And there was given him a great sword, which that was your blessing, man. That's your blessing, is a sword, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell upon the earth, right? So that's dealing with the ICBM missiles, the hypersonic missiles, right? You're not going to prevent World War III, right? That's why Zelensky is like, hey, let's just keep fighting. But Trump, which, if you're smart, I mean, on the carnal sense, it makes, if you're smart carnally, it makes sense to not fight, because World War III, them hypersonic missiles, Them ICBM missiles that burn hotter than the core of the sun, right? And then you're talking 200 million of them hitting the shores of America. A smart man would be like, nah, I don't want that. Because it's not like, yeah, the Lord has prophesied in this place to be completely wiped out and turned to a desert, but it's not like no missiles are going to hit anywhere else. That it ain't going to burn like the sun over there. That you ain't going to feel that nuclear wind in other places on the planet. Right? So it would be in everybody's best interest not to go to nuclear war. Right? On a common sense level. Right? But, hey, you can't escape prophecy. You can't escape what the Lord has. Right? So these guys they're fully invested, man. That was their blessing, the sword. And he said they were given what? A great sword. And they willing to live by it and die by it, right? That's what Isaac did. Isaac was Isaac, right? Isaac, our father Isaac, gave Esau the blessing of the sword. But then Yahushua, who is the reincarnation, right, of Isaac, which is Yahushua, said if you live by the sword, you will die by it, which so then for he gave him a blessing, which his blessing is a curse. So that you have to you're gonna have to die by the way you live, by how you inherit the earth. You got the fatness of the earth by the sword. The modern day sword is the gun, the nuke, right? The laser beams that you have created. You know, your drones, the ICBM. Don't forget about the ICBM missiles that's inside the submarines. The was it what Poseidon that they said they still can't find, which is one of those submarines that can hide from radar, and it has nukes inside Poseidon that's gonna shoot up upon the shores of America. Hey man, it will makes super great sense to try to avoid World War III. But guess what? Hey, they're gonna come to stars, right? Which is talking about the nuclear missiles fall from heaven unto earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs, right? Talking about the nukes, wherein she is shaken, right? In this whole earth, it says it shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, right? It's going to be a great shaking to the entire world, right? Because missiles are going to hit in America, the missiles are going to be hitting in Russia and China, and the earth is going to reel to and fro from the missiles hitting these various places on the planet of a mighty wind, and you're going to have that nuclear wind. Man, it's in everybody's best interest not to go to nuclear war, but we need it for the elect's sake. For the elect's sake, it's needed. And the heaven departed as a scroll, right? The mushroom cloud, when it rolled together, and the mountain, and every mountain, right? Every government, right? All these military guys, their host, their armies, their military, were moved out of their place, right? It's time for Yahushua to rule, man, right? It's been long. It's way too far long, right? And we have to be closer in that third day. Not like what Alazar was saying. We have to be closer to the third day anyway, because we're in 2,000 years plus. Like we have to be close to that third day, right? And the Lord has to be on his way. Look at all the things that's happening. We're too close, right? Not to mention Esau. It said that he sought to change times and seasons. So we don't really know what year you're really in. You don't know if it's 2000, but look at the signs there is, and we have to be closer to that third day, to the time that the Lord will return. And not to mention, the Lord said He'll shorten the days. What happened to that? Right? What happened to the Lord will shorten the days, and the kings of the earth, and great men, and rich men, the chief captains, and the mighty men, right? Your military, every bondman, right? Dudes in prison, right? Us is still stuck. And we're bondmen just stuck here in prison. In America, America in itself is a prison, right? And every free man, right? You think you're free, right? But you're bonded to your birth certificate, your driver license. You have to have a passport to leave this place, right? You're basically you're a slave to this place. But you're so-called free. You can kind of so-called wander around, but they're trying to lock that down, right, to their 15-minute cities. So you're gonna find that you're not all that free, right? Hide themselves in dens and in the rocks of mountains, right? Trying to hide themselves from the Lord, right? And to the mountains and the rocks fall on us, right? You're gonna try to hide yourself amongst these different, go amongst your own people, try to hide amongst the different governments, different things, you try to, and then of course there is no escape in America. No matter where you go in America, you're done. The nukes are gonna just completely obliterate this place. So there ain't no hiding in America, but other places people are gonna hide and hide us from the face of Him that sat on the throne, and from the wrath, right? Talking about the Most High, because the Most High sits on the throne, and from the Lamb, and from the wrath of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, right? The Lord's coming to bring that pain, man. Judgment, ultimately. For the great day of His wrath is come. Who shall be able to stand? See, and in a kingdom, right? Or a city, or a house divided will not be able to stand. So who will be able to stand in that day? Right? You have touched the apple of the Most High's eye. He's coming back to redeem the elect. Right? But who's going to stand in that day? Right? Not you. Right? So with all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. The elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence and a Baba Ball. Kwam Yasharallah.